morning, everybody. Today I think is February the 12th. I don't know why I can't remember the date right now, but I wanted to talk about today the art of changes. Okay, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people have fears with changes, and I can say I have had the same thing. Now, what I have realized when it comes to changes ordained by God, let's say it like that, a lot of times it kind of comes expected. So a lot of times we do get scared. We have fears, and it's many emotions and feelings that we kind of run through when it comes to just changes in general. But what I have been recently looking at the approach of changes, I've been more of working on like how can I accept these gracefully, and like how can I be I don't know how to explain, how can I be like a little bit more patience with this change, because it's like once you get the change and you recognize what it is, sometimes people want to rush and and like get things to move faster, and then sometimes it's just things are not supposed to move faster just because it changed. It's just we had a rapid change, and now your life is different from this point. So sometimes it's like, and I wouldn't say it has to be planned, but sometimes it has to be taken bit by bit. Let's say it like that. Because if we were to experience as many of the blessings that's within that change all at once, it's like that will definitely put you in overloads. Now, I will say that has happened for some people, but that is just dependent on everybody's situation. But I just feel like in a normal circumstance, a lot of times what happened is we get experience to this one change, and that one change, many blessings come from it over time, and that's what it's supposed to be like, or that's how it's usually. And I don't know, it might be different. I'm just looking at from what I've seen it from. Now, I want to talk about the 2 different type of churches I go to. Now, one of them is I do not know how to say this. It's like a evangelist type of church. But what if you heard of one community? It's one community, and I love that church. They're so community like involved, like, and it's just crazy how much they give back to the community and just to their members and people who are guests that just come there. And then on top of that, I love that you can like register for different community events to go help people in different areas and things like that. And I think that is just so beautiful that a group of church and people, and they sign up and they do those things, and it's just so involved. And not even just that, it's so many young people in the church that does so many different things within the church, and I just love it. The pastor is Pastor Conway. I do not know his first name. I just know they call him Pastor Conway, as I'm still kind of new, but I'm still just talking about like just some of the times that I have been there. Now, I will say, let me tell y'all how I got to this church. I have to talk about this testimony. I think I have talked about this testimony before. And I'm going to correlate these things together with what I'm saying with the changes and everything like that. Okay, so whenever I started going to this church, it was crazy. Like, let me tell y'all, it's not really crazy, but it's just magical, and it's like such a blessing. And it's just so, for the longest, God had been telling me to like, you need to go to church. You need to go to church. And I waited for like months and months because I wanted to find a church that was best for me. And I didn't know where to go to. And I just didn't know, like, if you're in Texas or in Dallas, Texas, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to like the different churches. There's so many different ones. Okay. So what happened was it was a guy that walked up to me well, first of all, my mentor, Miss Alicia, she was like, hey, do you want to go to one community with me? Blah, blah, blah. And I told her, I said, well, let me check my schedule and make sure it's not so crazy that I can go, okay? She was the very first person that suggested to go to church with her, okay? And we gonna get into that because it's amazing. So after that, I had met maybe like 2 or 3 other like random people, and they was telling me about their churches and this and that. But I always go somewhere with my mentor, because my mentor, she, I don't know, for some odd reason, and it's not really odd, it's great, she actually just kind of knows what I need at my time in life without even me actually ever saying anything to her, oddly enough. I don't know, I just feel like there's got to be divine alignment with God, and that's all I could really say. But it was just 2 other people came, this is all within one day, and was like, you need to go to church, and or they were suggesting me go to their churches. And this is the crazy thing, my grandmother called me and was like, hey Bree, have you found a church yet? And I was like, okay God, like don't even worry, because like it's crazy, because within this day God sent me to 2 different, not sent me to 2 different churches, but he sent 4 people to tell me to go to church. And I was like, you know what? Let me go to church with my mentor. My mentor, I trust her judgment in all things, because she has helped change my life significantly, and just with her knowledge alone. And she's such amazing. I have to give her a shout out and tell her how much I love her, because she does an amazing job by helping me and teaching me. Okay. And like, so she was, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to church with my mentor. And I remember telling those people, and it was crazy how I kind of manifested it too, because when the 2 other people suggested their church, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go to church with my mentor. I already have a church home. I'm gonna go there with them. And whenever my grandmother had asked, I went on ahead and told her, I said, well, I'm gonna go with my mentor to this one community. We'll check it out, you know, see how it is. And that's what happened. So I went there, and then that same day, that Sunday that I went, they was like, hi y'all, we're having a women's prayer night Friday, and I think it started like at like 9 or something at night, and it ended like, it might have been 8 or something, I don't know. I just remember I was there all night past 12 o'clock to like 5 that next morning, and it was just a new experience for me. I never went to a church, especially a women's night, and it was just my first time, and it was just an experience in a room full of women just praying. It is so powerful. I think people do not know sometimes the power of prayer, and a power of prayer in a community. Like, it's crazy, and I'm like, this is the best experience in my life like I ever have had, and I'm like waiting for them to do it again. I'm like, please do this again, because I loved it, and it changed my life like forever. And so, and let me tell you why, because I keep saying that, but I went there and we did the women's prayer night, and we prayed all night. This gave me so much time to really think about the prayers and the things that I needed. Like, and it's like I think I said this in a previous story. I talked about how I went to this prayer night and I prayed a specific prayer over myself, and God sent 3, not one, he sent 3 other people to me the next day, or basically the same day after I left the little prayer night, because it was overnight. He literally, within 24 hours, sent 3 different people to me. 3 people to confirm what I prayed on. That was a short prayer over myself. Remember, I was talking about prayer and how we should elongate our prayers over ourselves, because we need prayer just as the next person. Because I said I was one of those people that love to pray. I love to pray over everybody else. And not go in detail on me, but now that's different. But it's like, I went there that night, and we prayed with a group of women, and we just prayed over each other. We fellowship, we got in groups, and we talked, and it was other older people in the groups, and they gave us some words of wisdom. It was just so amazing that it was a light. And also, I got to experience healthy women. If anybody ever know what I'm saying, like, have y'all been like not around healthy women And it's like you're so scared to be friends with women because you've been so experienced to unhealthy women. And it's crazy when I got around a group of healthy women who has healthy conversations. You know, it's just so healing for me because I didn't have that experience, you know, without it just being one person you meet and they just, you know, no, this is a group of people. And what I love about it, my company is like this. They root for you. Like even my company, Primerica, and that's the reason why I can never stop trying and growing within my business as well. Because these people have an unconditional love for you that I just don't know how to explain. Just like this church has an unconditional love for you, the people that's in there, it's like I just don't know how to explain. It's unmatched. I just never seen it anywhere. So whenever let me go back. When I prayed this prayer that night, y'all, and like within 24 hours, I literally had 2 to 3 people walk up to me now one lady, she stood out. I cannot remember her name. I used to remember her name, but now I cannot remember her name. But I just want to tell her thank you, and she was such a blessing to me. We was in Clyde Park in Dallas. Like I was with my friend and her sister, and like we were just talking, and a lady walked up and she said, "Which one of y'all are doing entrepreneurship?" And I was like, "Me." And she said, "You came up with a strategy that you told God that you had this strategy." And I want to tell you that God said, "Go ahead with that." Do y'all hear what I'm saying? I prayed this prayer, short prayer, forgot I even prayed it. And she came and told me and said what I said in my prayer, in my mind, my heart, to God. Nobody knew about that prayer but me and God. And that's the reason why I said you cannot try him. You have to be under him. And all things you do is pray. And that's when I got into my mode of praying all the time, because when I prayed, I realized God do hear me. He does listen to me, y'all. And so, like I said, this lady walked up to me. The next 2 people that I met after that, they came and we talked about some things, and it was just the message that we talked about in our group about prayer and a prayer. I don't know. She asked us some questions and thought what our insight was. And y'all, crazy enough, the 2 girls that I met that night, one of them I am very close friends with from that night, and she's Nigerian, and she goes to a Nigerian church. And I got to get into that because that's like, when I tell you their church is so much different than it is like here, but y'all, when I tell you, it's so amazing. And the reason why I say, y'all, we need multiple resources when it comes to God, because you get so many different experience, but then also you can really find whatever critique works for you when it comes to your spiritual base. And that's why I'm making this channel, because I want to talk about it. And you just never know what works for somebody that doesn't work for somebody else, or you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and true enough, 2 more people came after this woman, double clarified what was said to me or what I prayed about that night. And also they left us with some verses. But not even just that, I took a lifelong friend after that who I know is going to be my friend forever. And it's like, it's so crazy how God put people together and a line of people together. And it's just like how he came and spoke to me and told me these things and told me to move forward with it. Now, I want to talk about changes. So in that moment, I continued to do what it is God told me to do. In the midst of all of that, I lost faith because it wasn't happening quick enough for me. And that's when I realized that it doesn't really require me to, it's okay to feel like this, but continue, because it's going to be something that you put out that is eventually going to grow. And I'm noticing now that as I put my affirmations out more, I'm noticing where people are starting to recognize it and draw themselves to the Lord. And I said, I got to continue to keep doing what it is that God wants me to do. And I'm like, it was a big change for me whenever these people came and told me what I prayed about and gave me more clarification. That's when I knew that I had to fulfill this with God. Okay. And this change felt so big to me, but also at the same time, I'm trying to figure out how can I approach this at the best way that I possibly can, and the first thing that initially came was a lot of doubt. And so I was like, I felt like it would take me forever, but I don't feel like that no more, because I feel like if God told me to do something, I just need to be obedient. And then the next thing I need to do is just wait. purely wait on God, because when God fulfills something for us, it's much satisfying than the world fulfilling us. And we all know that, right? And so, and that's why I'm correlating this with changes. So I'm actually going through the changes now. Right now, it's my process. Right now, it's my processing time of me taking my time. But it's so beautiful, because it's just like, wait till we get to the end result. Wait till I get to telling y'all a story about like this happened, that happened, and this happened. And I got plenty of events and things that I could talk about, but I just can't wait to tell y'all that from that prayer night and me meeting those people into where I'm at today is like such a blessing. Okay. So that's the reason why I really made this video, because I really want to talk about changes. And I really feel like a lot of us have been experiencing a lot of changes, and people don't really take that lightly, you know, because it can be a lot. But I feel like the bigger thing is take this change and take it in small pieces until you can grasp all of this. And it's other aspects of my personal life I would love to talk about on why I'm talking about changes as well. But I really just wanted to talk about this main one because it's very important to me. And this was the very first thing that really hit my mind and really taught me the importance of changing, being consistent really, and doing small things as you can, even if it's just a prayer or you writing down something. I always tell people all the time, if you feel a certain type of way about something, please write the pros and the cons of each. Please write down how you're feeling, how you want to feel. You know, it's like so many different things. And I promise you, y'all, it will be so healing for you just to get something out on paper. You know, and I think another thing is we just have to believe in ourselves when it comes to doing different things in life, but also trusting in the process with God and not losing faith that God is not, you know, is not here to take care of us. That's what he here is to do, you know. And like I tell y'all all the time, make sure y'all pray in all that you do. God will always show you the way. He will show you direction. Don't question it. Just go with it. And my thing is, once you pray, once you really get to in the true acts of prayer, then you will see the changes. Then you will see like what's going to work and what's not, and adjust. And then when you have to adjust and make changes, it's going to be easy for you. We just have to trust. Okay. And it may not feel like that at the moment, but at some point, you're going to have to recognize that prayer can do anything. It changes all things. It changed my life, and I know it can change y'all. And I want to say thank y'all today for listening to me ramble. But I'm here because I am I'm doing my mission. Like, this is my missionary work. This is my mission. I just want to be here and talk and speak about people, also help people with their finances, okay? So I will put a link below if you want to set up a 10-minute meeting with me, or you want a financial consultant, or you just need to talk or something like that. I really want to tell each and every one of you, I love each and every one of you, and I want y'all to have the most amazing day, and I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow.